Hello, loved ones. I'm on my way out and about. And today I was just doing some thinking. If you saw my last video, I've been talking about working with the ancestors a lot because I work this Know Thyself all the time. I work this program all the time. So I'm always trying to refine myself. I think that we all have something to work on, and and then too, I strengthen my connection with my ancestors every time I go through go through the program deeper and deeper and deeper, looking at it on the inside of myself. And today I want to talk about messages from ancestors. How do we really receive messages from ancestors? And that varies from person to person. I'm sorry, this camera is shaking. That varies from person to person. And for me, I get messages in all sorts of formats. Sometimes when I go down to the mounds, I get clear answers from the ancestors. Like when I go down there and I do my thing and do my ritual and set my intentions and do all the use some of the ancient healing modalities in my own little ritual, I get clear answers from them. Like that's really where I've gained the alignment and strengthen my connections with the ancestors, is going down to Toltec mounds. Another way that I get my messages too is through things that my grandparents told me when I was younger, but I didn't really think anything of it then because I was too young to really grasp what they were saying. And so I'm left walking away like, what did they just say? I don't really understand that, what she said. What does that mean? Just stuff that our elders tell us, but we really don't understand it when they tell us. And I guess that part of my mind is opening to that. So now when I go back and look at these conversations that I had with the elders, it's almost like it be messages for right now. Those conversations comes up for messages right now, if that even made sense. So, you can get messages from your ancestors in so many different formats. Of course, you guys know I do use psychopumps or meditations. I do use meditations and stuff to connect with ancestors as well. I have an altar. But for the most part, like one day I was out and now I just started getting smells. It just all depends on my ancestors because they had did some things and I just be like, wow, like, whoa. Some of the things they show me, I just be like, whoa. One time I was out, and this has been here recently, when we were doing some work together, me and my ancestors, and I asked them what did they want on the altar after we did the work, and I didn't know, and all of a sudden I started thinking about smoked neck bones, cornbread, and greens. I hadn't had that in a long time, but I remember these flashes started flashing in my mind, and I was like, okay, I'm not sure, because see, I thought I was going to get this, and I started talking about something else. I started mentioning something else because I talked to them like that. I'm talking to you on this camera. This is how me and ancestors talk. And so I was like, okay, so I was going to do this, and as soon as I start saying, okay, so you want the neck bones, you want the smoked neck bones and the greens, that's what you want. I need some type of sign. And so I was driving just like I am now. I was driving on my way to the store, and all of a sudden I started smelling the incense on my altar that I usually burn to them. And I was like, what in the world? I was in this car now smelling my altar burning, smelling the incense on my altar burning. And I just started smiling. I said, I guess this is a sign. This is what you really want. You know, this is what you want. And so I went to the store and I bought exactly what they wanted. The neck bones, the cornbread. I put some flowers on there. What else did I do? And then I put some type of liquor on there as well. I think it was beer. I put some beer up there as well. But that it held for a long time. And like those flowers, I bought those flowers like last month. But they are still fresh and white on my altar right now. Fresh, like none of them are dead. None of them are dead. In the way, I'm going to take them off probably this week. But they're not even dying. They're just like withering. You know how most of them turn brown and, you know, start breaking away? These are kind of like, they're still got they vibrant tint to it. But they're kind of like slowly, like the energy, it's withering. It's different. Because I've seen how they're not drying out. No, they're not drying out and dying. No, they're just sort of kind of like limping over a little bit. They're not even drying out and dying. So you can get messages from your ancestors. It's just you have to keep an open mind when you get a message from spirit. One day I was talking to the ancestors about something, because I'm always talking about something. Especially when I've been doing a lot of healing, because that's what my ancestry, that's what I'm in this for, doing healing work. So I was talking to them about healing and was I really being actively doing the healing the way I needed to be doing. And I was riding down the street. I went down the street so many times. I've seen so many birds. I'm always looking for birds. I'm always looking at animals outside when I'm talking to ancestors, because that's how you get messages too, through certain animals. Certain animals mean certain things. So that's important too. You didn't see that cat for nothing. You didn't see that bluebird for nothing. You didn't see that red bird for nothing. It means something. So I'm driving down the street and I see this hawk come out of nowhere and just fly, and I'm like, that is an unusual bird. And it's like, is that a hawk? You know, but I saw a hawk and I was like, okay, that's my sign right there. If my healing is working, I need to go research this bird and on the spiritual, metaphysical qualities of this bird and what did the indigenous people say about this bird. So, I mean, we always get messages from spirit, but we have to keep an open mind, you know. So you can get messages from spirit any kind of way, like here lately. Again, doing the healing work, because see, that's what I'm into it for. You know, everybody's journey is different, so I'm just, you know, sharing my journey. I had a dream about, I was in this house with all my family, and I was talking about the energy patterns that was in our family that was, you know, wreaking havoc, and how we needed to really acknowledge these things that's going on with us and the things that have hurt us. And see, I tripped myself out in the dream, because I was just like, what in the world? This is not me. Like, I don't even have the guts to even have this conversation. Oh my gosh, but the house was big, and it was my older cousins, and it was a lot of family in there, and I remembered that dream. And then I had another dream. The ancestors was telling me something. It was so vivid when I was in the dream. When I was in the dream, it was vivid, you know. I didn't understand that, because I was really talking, and I was remembering what I was saying when I was asleep, because I was talking out loud. And then I said to myself, I'm gonna remember this dream, because I am really conversating with this person in my dream. It was an ancestors, but I couldn't make out the face. It was an ancestor, but it was an ancestor that I didn't know, and that was telling me stuff about, you know, the trauma, the key to healing the trauma in the family. And in the dream, I was repeating it. Like I was repeating what they were saying. And now I just started keeping a journal by my bed because I'm like, how in the hell did I, it just started to fade out. As soon as I woke up, I was like, oh my God, it's going away. The dream is going away. But now I'm going to have to, again, depending on that ancestor, because I had one auntie that came to me and it took her 3 days to come to me. She kept taking me to this house that she lived in. But by this house, it was a whole bunch of water. And I was like, what is up? It was, a whole bunch of water. It was like a sea, a river sea. It was flowing and roaring. It was flowing and roaring the way the water was. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so much water. And then I went in her house. It was 2 different houses that she stayed in. It seemed like it was put into one house. And I remember taking my cousins, them picking them up, taking them in the house. And in the dream, I kept saying, why am I going to this old house? I was like, why am I going to this old house? And she did that twice. And I was like, this is Jackie's old house. I don't know how long she had been dead before I had that dream. But then the 3rd night, she actually came. I guess she was patching it. I don't know how, my understanding is totally different from somebody else's. This is my journey. For me, I felt like she was trying to patch the work in because she had just died. So she was linking her connection to me, trying to link her connection to me some type of way. I told my mom about the dream. She was trying to link her connection in there to me some kind of way. And so she came back to let me know everything was good between me and her. She had the most beautiful smile and everything. So it's so many ways your ancestors can communicate with you. It's just leaving yourself open to the communication and not dismissing it when it happens. No matter how strong or subtle the connection is, it's an honor to get, answers and guidance from them. And I do tarot cards, but sometimes tarot cards are not enough for me. I feel like I can be biased towards my own reading because I read all the time. And so sometimes the ancestors have to give messages to me in a very different format sometimes. So I hope this video was helpful because, a lot of us are starting ancestral work and we really don't know the messages and how they communicate. But there's so many different ways, so just take your time and stay open for spirit to reach you. I hope this video was very helpful. I hope it was insightful, and it's really helping you in your path, because sometimes we can get a little bit discouraged when we feel like excuse me, we're not connecting with spirit. Excuse me, but we really are connecting with spirit. And no matter, it could be very subtle, sometimes it can be strong depending upon the ancestor. I'm learning as I go. The ancestors are like teaching me, they intuitively teaching me. And it's a profound experience because they teaching me how to trust them and myself at the same time. It's like, to me, it's like walking on a tightrope. Like, okay, I made that step right. I made that step right. But then when you get it right, you be like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe I'm doing this. So it's building my faith too. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope it inspired you. I hope it empowered you. And just keep going on. Trust yourself and trust the ancestors. Light and love. Keep going on, loved ones. Namaste. Ashe.